Hello, a very good morning. It's great to have you with us at the start of a brand new week of Ireland AM on Virgin Media One.
Indeed, it's Monday the 17th of June. Thank you so much for turning us on this morning.
Now, overnight, heartbreak again for Rory McIlroy. He has suffered a devastating loss in the US Open by a single shot. Oh, what's a clip of it this morning. Devastating for him. We're going to be discussing that and the other sport over the weekend at 7:15.
There was certainly a lot going on. A feast.
Yes, sure was.
If you're a sports fan, if you're a soap fan, not so much. Cork actress Jennifer Barry will be dropping it at 8:15. She'll be chatting to us about the return of the young offenders.
Plus, we'll be speaking to war journalist Ilia Ponomarenko, who did so well at that earlier, on reporting on the war in Ukraine. That's at 7:45. That's as European delegates, including our own Taoiseach Simon Harris, attended a two-day peace summit in Switzerland this weekend on the conflict.
So there's lots coming up, but there's even more because he's returned. We're just going to talk to him about his holiday for 2 hours. Will we?
No, let's not.
No, he's done, right?
Let's not.
No, he's done.
There's lots of other stuff coming up on the show, including a tasty tapas dish. Well, make me feel like I'm still on me Spanish summer holidays. We've got old money looks on the catwalk, and we've got the most iconic Irish cultural figures as figurines. Yes, stay tuned for that. Now, Derek is exploring a historic part of Dublin this morning. Where are you, Derek?
Yeah, good morning, Al. Welcome back from your halls. Anyway, ahead of our trips to County Louth and County Westmeath this week, we've landed here in Dublin 8. It is a mainly dry and settled start, you'll be glad to hear. A couple of light showers in our northern areas through the Dingle Peninsula in Kerry down there at the moment, but elsewhere it is building pretty nicely, and in fact a pretty decent day. Some really nice sunshine on the way for Wednesday with some nice warm valleys, so do mark that in the diary. Now, we've landed here in the grounds of Royal Kilmainham Hospital. We're actually here in the courtyard at the moment, and behind that we've got some beautiful gardens. Coming up later on, we're going to be paying a visit to them, catching up with the head gardener, taking you on a tour of the historic landscaped gardens a little bit later on this morning. And Tommy, well done to Monaghan yesterday. 3-point win over County Meath into the quarterfinals.
It did. Thank you very
Monaghan
much.
Abu.
Oh, yes. Well, it's been a while coming. We haven't had many wins recently, Derek. But yes, good to get one over Meath.
Absolutely.
Yes, we'll be discussing all of that very shortly. Derek, catch up with you also later on. Looks gorgeous out there as well. Beautiful weather this morning.
Now, coming up next, last night there was agony for Rory McIlroy as Bryson DeChambeau snatched a one-shot victory in the US Open, even though Rory shot a 69 it was. Oh,
Rory's going to link with Mayo, doesn't he?
What?
Two of them can't get it done. We're going to discuss that in all the sport after the break.
Oh, he's narrow this morning. Welcome back to Ireland AM now from Rory McIlroy's close call to a busy day in the GAA. We have all the latest in sport.
Yes, we're here to discuss his former Dublin footballer Paddy Andrews and Virgin Media sport presenter Bernard O'Toole. Good morning to you both.
Hello.
We seem to overnight always talk about Rory McIlroy in these golf competitions. Finally, Bernard, we thought... I went to bed last night thinking I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning. It's going to be good news. He's actually going to do this and win a major. What happened?
Well, look, I suppose over the last 10 years, Rory's had a couple of near-miss stories, but I suppose what was different or what felt different about this weekend is we thought this was going to be the weekend where he actually put 4 consistent rounds together. I suppose so much in the past, Rory did damage early, let's say in round 1 and round 2, and then maybe clawed it back and gave himself too much work to do, or vice versa, whereby, he finished poorly. Yeah. All the signs were there the weekend that it was going to happen. All the signs were there until the final 4 holes yesterday. 3 bogeys in his final 4 holes.
I mean, that's the sort of putt, Paddy, we've both stood over at times and thinking, this is definitely going to go...
Do you know what the thing with Rory...
Like, the putt at 10 was amazing. Do you know, he lashes in these ones from ages.
Big question marks around Rory, particularly final rounds of majors. Can he win on hard courses? Can he grind it out? Can the putter get hot? For 15 holes, he'd answered every single one of them. He was draining putts. He was unbelievable. And there was a stat put up by Golf Digest on Twitter, which was incredible. After the collapse is the only way you can kind of describe it. He has 496 putts this year from inside 3 feet, and he hasn't missed one.
Wow.
And he missed 2 in 3 holes to cost him the Open. So you can't say it's anything other than pressure, like... He doesn't miss
the weight of the world, the weight of golf, weight of so much is on his shoulder. He is so much the poster boy for that sport. And everybody is willing him to win. It just doesn't see, whatever it is, Bernard, but where does he go from here? Like, I mean, can he just keep knocking on the door?
Look, I think it's 4 times in the last 10 years since he won his last major that he's finished in second place. And unfortunately, from his point of view, the only other, obviously, major that he can win this year is the Open Championship.
Yeah.
And if the hype was big when he's in the States, it's going to be even bigger at Royal Troon this year. Look, you have to say, fantastic for this guy. He did so well.
Someone won. We've got to talk about Bryson DeChambeau. What a name. Oh, look at him. I can't. It's heartbreaking.
That will be a meme, I feel.
I'm always heartbroken for this multimillionaire, constantly.
Listen, I think what's amazing, Rory, is it's not about there's something
It's
so
not.
genuine
No,
about him. He's such a good spokesperson for the sport, and he gives you his honest
Yep.
opinion, which is amazing, which is why he's so popular.
Sorry, I'm being facetious because he is amazing, and the support there, because he has been the PGA. He has been constantly
He's
going
been-
to
he's been the
the
face of it, he
PGA,
has been, yeah.
and the support he had, the shouting for him.
Yeah.
He's loved. He is loved in the States. So, of all his
Pen
defeats, you do feel that is one of the
I think he's going to be grand. I think he'll win the next one.
Listen,
I think he will.
it was heartbreaking for him, and he will do it eventually. Like, he is so close. Let's move on to another team person that can't get it done, Mayo. They had it.
But they can. They drew.
That was an easy segue there.
They had it in the bag, though. Like, this could have really scuppered Dublin's plans and given everybody a chance going into this All-Ireland.
Yeah, I still think it probably does. A lot of teams will have a lot more confidence going in because the last couple of weeks there's been a lot of talk around Dublin that are going to kind of steamroll everyone and win the championship. It was a brilliant game. I think that's the big plus. There's been so many games in the championship, and we've kind of been waiting to actually get to the business end of it. And it feels like we've arrived there now. This, rolling back the years, Dublin and Mayo putting on an absolute classic.
Yeah.
Dublin seem to have done enough that kind of their ace up their sleeve with bringing guys off the bench, Paul Mannion and Jack McCaffrey, and they could get a 3 or 4 point lead. But Mayo hang in there, that unbelievable spirit, the resilience that Mayo have. 3
Look
minutes.
how devastated they are.
3 minutes into injury time, they're a point up. They've 1 play left, and Kevin McStay, you just think as a team, you have to just hold out there and not draw the game. What it means is Dublin top the group. So they go straight through to the All-Ireland
There was 17 all.
17 all, so a draw was good enough for Dublin. Mayo have to play next weekend. They're into the preliminary quarterfinals, so they're at home because they finished second, but it's an extra game. It'll be 5 weekends in a row those teams are playing, so it's a big ask if you don't qualify straight to the quarterfinals. So Dublin,
if Dublin didn't come
they'd be playing
first,
next weekend.
They probably would have had to
reverse,
play 3 matches and then might have faced Kerry before you get to the final. So it would have made it a lot more difficult for them, but now it looks like...
The draws later today, so the teams that have topped the group are Dublin, Kerry, obviously, Armagh in the other
who
group.
drew
They
with
got
Galway.
last second score against Galway, which puts them on top of their group as well. And the other team was Donegal. So they're straight to the quarterfinals. They can relax. They're seeded. They'll have a good draw, and they have a couple of weeks off. Whereas the rest of the teams, Mayo, Galway,
Got to slog it out.
the draw's later this morning, so we'll know. But they're playing this weekend and next weekend and the weekend after.
But it is interesting, like, whenever these matches, like, it's coming down to the wire. Some great football matches.
Finally.
Burned. Yeah.
Yeah, look, it took us a while to get there, but it did.
Exactly.
The match had an edge yesterday. The flip side of that as well, you have to remember as well, it was so Dublin-like, wasn't it? Just it looked like they were beaten, they were in trouble.
Yeah.
So cool, calm and collected, go to the other end and get the
Never
score.
a doubt.
Because with that, as you have mentioned, Armagh and Galway, it was 112 to 15 points, Armagh and Galway. So Armagh topped their group.
Same thing. Last score of the game, last play of the game, Armagh got a point to level it. They topped the group and Galway drop into second. So there's a little bit of excitement in this championship.
Yeah,
You have to
with
really
the new
dig in for
system.
it. But,
I have to mention Monaghan, the big win against me as well.
Great game.
Great game.
First
Beautiful
victory
weather.
in nearly 5 months, I'm reading here.
That's not good.
Since beating the Dubs.
Since beating
the
Dublin,
Dubs.
actually,
Since
yeah.
beating back in their fourth.
So well done to them. Let's move on to the Euros. Are you enjoying it, Bernard? Getting stuck into it so far? Let's talk, I suppose, England last night. Big hopes and them, massive favourites.
Football could be coming home.
Early for that.
Look, it was good. They got the job done. I suppose the big takeaway from
Against
England
Serbia.
and against Serbia and from the Euros last night was this guy Jude Bellingham, who's absolutely sensational. Had his hand in 36 goals for
Like, they do have unbelievably talented individual players. Can they bring them together, though, for a big competition?
I think, look, they are one of the favourites for a reason. They've every chance. I just don't see that England side living with a France at full tilt when it comes to the business end. They will be at the business end of this tournament. They have got great individual players, but I just don't know if they have what it takes to get all the way. As well as that, if they are going to fail, they already have a stick to beat the manager because he left out Jack Grealish.
But Paddy, like, you've won, 8 All-Irelands. Do you mean, like, you know how to get it done in these big competitions? With an England team that are packed full of world-class
They're not going
stars.
to. No chance.
Why?
they've no balance in their team. Like, this is like reeks of the golden generation again, with a brilliant, unbelievable individual talent, which they have. There's no doubt about that. But they're trying to fit all these guys into the same team. Like, they were outplayed by Serbia last night.
Yeah.
Unless there's drastic changes. And to be fair to Southgate, over the last 5 or 6 years, he has actually done that at times, but he seems to have gone back to nearly the Sven-Goran Eriksson. I'll just appease everyone and play all my stars. If they play that way over the next month, there's not a chance they'll win this tournament.
And already, because you can see when you're watching BBC or ITV, they're like, football's coming home. They're talking about quarters, they're talking about semis. And you're like, can we just get out of the group and concentrate on this? Like, it's great having confidence, but let's just do it bit by bit. One thing that has been commented on, Bernard, hugely, because the last big tournaments, Qatar and Russia, they're all going, the vibe in Germany is big. A lot of football fans. They're like, it really shows when you put football in a footballing nation that it makes a huge difference.
It's huge. And we saw it right from the get-go last week. I don't know if you saw the shots in Munich for the Scotland fans on Friday. It was absolutely great to see. It was brilliant. It looked like Oktoberfest came early in Munich on Friday. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. It's great to see.
It is. It's the front of the Sun, though, today that we do have to mention that there was an axeman, someone carrying an axe in the fan zone, that the German police shot him. Now, he is still recovering from this, but it is like they're obviously taking a zero tolerance policy on this, because when you have so many people together, there has to, I don't know, what's the wrong way to do this, but I suppose it's frightening.
Some English fans went up with Serbians yesterday. There was some hooliganism.
Yeah, look, there was elements of that. We're going to get elements of that. We're going to see more of that as the tournament goes on. But the only way they can approach this is with that zero tolerance.
It's their
approach
biggest
to the whole
ever
thing.
police operation in Germany that they brought in for this, because they can see this. So hopefully there's not much more of it, and it's their isolated incidents. But
because a lot of the Netherlands supporters and stuff look unbelievable. Like, that atmosphere does look amazing. Listen, Bernard O'Toole from Virgin Media Sports, great to have you with us, and Paddy Andrews, former Dublin football. Great.
Coming in so early. Just stay for the day.
I'll be here all day.
Yeah, literally, you'll be here all day.
Great to have you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, guys. Coming up, we're going to get you today's top stories, including Fianna Fáil's potential relationship. Are they going to go for a chat in the villa with Labour?
Well, stay with us for more on that.
It's time now to look at this morning's papers. We'll start with the Irish Times. The headline there: Amazon raised doubts over data centre expansion. Online retail giant Amazon raised doubts about its capacity to expand its cloud computing presence in Ireland during recent lobbying of the government because of difficulties connecting new data centres to the electricity grid.
Patients left without care as dentists quit HSE scheme. Medical card holders in need of dental treatment are being left in the lurch as there are 252 fewer dentists in the scheme compared to the same time last year. That's the front of the Irish Independent.
The Examiner's front page: Ports join bid to tackle drugs trade. Irish authorities have set up a high-level implementation group to join a European ports network task with tackling the booming sea trade in international drug trafficking.
Gilligan cancer claims are rubbish. Mob boss blasts illness rumours as he takes out trash. That's the headline of The Star.
Similarly, the Mirror goes with "It's a load of rubbish." Mobster puts out bin bags in Spain as cancer claims rejected.
The Herald states IRA rapist set for D4 move. A former IRA member who was convicted of raping 2 teenage boys while hiding out in a Republican safe house is due to be released from prison next week.
Fianna Fáil prepared to ditch the Greens in favour of Labour. That's the top story on the Daily Mail. Fianna Fáil is privately moving to, quote, ditch the Greens in favour of an arrangement with Labour following the local and European elections.
And we are staying with that story from the Daily Mail now, where it reports that the message was clear from Micheál Martin to the Fianna Fáil councillors: build relationships with Labour.
Here to discuss what's going on in the political Love Island villa, it is News Talk's Anton Savage.
Good morning, Anton. How are you?
With chat, what's going on, yeah?
Yeah, it's very good. Sorry,
got a text.
I knew Love Island.
Did Micheál get a text?
So this is another evidence of numbers matter in politics, because as with all these things, you say that the impossible will never happen until the numbers make it happen. So the notion that Charlie Haughey said that it was, I'm not sure he used the phrase, but anathema to consider that Fianna Fáil would ever go into coalition government, then the numbers required it, they went into coalition government. It was unthinkable that Fianna Fáil and Labour and Fine Gael would cosy up together, then the numbers required it, then they got it. What we now have is Labour having slightly more than twice as many-ish seats as the Greens on local councils around the country. This means that if you want to do council business, you need to be doing it with Labour as much as you do with the Greens. So there's a bit of a shove from Micheál Martin to say, lads, cosy up so that we can continue to run the place. And as you look ahead to the general election, there is that sense that maybe Labour in bed to some extent with the Social Democrats, which Aodhán Reardon was talking about over the weekend. If that comes to fruition, well, they'll need to be pals if that's what the numbers require.
And on the votes, on the percentages that Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael got in the local elections, could they form a coalition government, just the two of them, or will they always need somebody? Are we now seeing the future of a rotating Taoiseach in this country? Is that going to be set from now on? Again,
this is one of those things where that'll depend entirely on the numbers. So if you get a sufficient disparity that there is obviously a major party and a minor party, then we're back to the PDs and Fianna Fáil and the Labour and Fine Gael and all the rest of it. Is the likelihood that we'll see that big disparity between the two? No, you couldn't get a cigarette paper between them. So yes, we're likely to see the possibility of rotating Taoiseach being permanent, but we're also likely to see potentially a mixum gatherum of independents and small parties shoring up a government, which could mean that government negotiations will go on for 7.5 decades. Because it's one thing to negotiate with two parties, it's another to have to go to every single individual and do deals. That will take forever.
And do you think it is a good idea for Fianna Fáil to be cozying up to Labour if this is going to happen? Ivana Bacik obviously has done a better job than everyone thought when it came to the locals, but locals and general elections are very different.
I think the issue for Fianna Fáil, yes, it's absolutely no-brainer. They lose nothing by cozying up, and if they need to do a deal after the election, it is much easier if there is a good relationship there. I think the more challenging side of that relationship is Labour's perspective, because Labour is still recovering, and I mean, recovering is even now a loose term. It's still barely surviving. After the last time they were in coalition. Correct. And if you look, the same, do you want to go back into that again? Exactly. It's like looking at that toxic spouse you had and thinking, do I want to go back? I'm barely over it the last time, so it'll be a challenge for them.
Yeah, certainly. Now, there's a different story, and this is inside the Examiner. There's a lot of different stories in the front of the papers today. And this is online groups offering to arrange illegal private adoptions and birth certificates from outside Ireland into Ireland.
Yeah, this is ropey. I mean, this is properly ropey, and the operative word in what you've said there is illegal. So this is people who are saying, we can sort you out with a fake birth cert, we can get you a child, you pay us a few quid. I suppose in one way, you'd almost hope that it's a scam and that it isn't human trafficking.
100%.
But then it is a scam and people are losing thousands of euro. It is one of those things where if you look at it, sort of cold light a day of a Monday morning, you think, who could be taken in by such a thing? If you've spent tens of thousands of euro on cycles of IVF, you have got to the point where you're in desperation, you think the chance of you ever having a child is passing, and you see on Facebook somebody who apparently can solve your problems, and you can morally justify it by saying, well, I'll be giving a happy home to a child. You could see how somebody might get drawn in. Obviously, all the people involved in adoptions in Ireland are saying, don't go near this with a 10-foot pole, because adoption in Ireland is heavily regulated and a very long, drawn-out, careful process for good reason, because of issues to do subsequently with traceability and also to make sure that you get the right families for the right kids. These are groups, and they're saying they can arrange private adoptions, forged birth certificates for €2,240. Correct. And it is people online saying anything, but you can imagine they would manage to get a lot of that money out of people before you discover there is nothing
that it
there.
is a scam, that there is indeed something there.
And they have to say this is human trafficking and you can go to prison for life.
Correct. And it is totally 100% without question illegal. And even if you were successful in getting an adoption, all of the things that we have now seen people reaping the negative effects of, how do you trace the birth parents? How do you find out about your own medical history? All of that, there's a reason we have a system for this, and that if it was real, it bypasses all of it. But the suggestion seems to be it's just to fleece the vulnerable.
I'm just thinking from any kid, any person now who's looking in, who was born in a laundry or mother's in a laundry, looking at this and people using this as a scam online, they must be just so heartbroken and horrified. It's awful, absolutely awful. Now, there was something that's all over the place today, whether you read it in a newspaper or online, it does depend. Online outlets, the main source for news for the very first time, but also about how many people are consuming news, Anton.
Yeah, Ireland is sort of ahead of the pack in terms of news consumption. We have, I think, 88% of people who say that they are to some extent or another interested in news, which is slightly more than the UK and the US. That has always been the case. We do very well on interest in global affairs and interest in current affairs. The manner of that consumption is interesting in that for the first time online sources are bigger than television.
Yeah.
So I think it's around 32% versus 31% in and around there. But we have the single largest source of news is online. We need to throw a bit of a pinch of salt on this, because when you then look at where is it online that people are getting their news?
Yeah.
Well, it's where they used to get it. They just don't buy the newspaper anymore. They get it. So it's independent.ie, it's RTE, it's
literally the traditional places,
all of
except
these
it's online.
on your iPad.
Yeah.
But there are other places, because I know Carl doesn't watch the news. He will get all his information about politics, about anything online. And then some of it can be quite skewed then, because he'd say to me going, did you see that story about that? And I said, well, that's not totally factually correct.
But that's the issue with disinformation and misinformation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, you see, I think there's two critical issues in this. The first is the difference between news and information. And we have a tendency to believe that news is the important thing. It isn't. Analysis is also hugely important. So the fact that you scroll your phone and you see a quick paragraph, okay, I know that has happened. But then during the rest of the day, you read more data on it, often off social media posts, off whatever else, and that can get you right down rabbit holes that have nothing to do with the actual reality. There was a day when the news, if you took something like the BBC News at 10, it had such heft that of an evening people would turn on the television, everybody would sit around and watch it. They were legally required. Did they always get it right? No, but they were legally required to give objectivity and balance. Now, more and more, we're seeing there is no central repository that gives balance. People find the versions of reality they want, and that's a huge issue.
And that's where the echo chamber is. Where are you getting your news from? We'd love to hear from you this morning. 0896 111 111. Now, there was a bit in... We got it online, metro.co.uk. This is about food at a wedding. Tell us about this.
This is a woman who is vegan. And unusually for a vegan, she's very passionately committed to her beliefs. And she has decided that she wants to have a vegan wedding, as you would. And her mother has said, oh, go away with your vegan wedding. Will you just give me a bit of beef or salmon? And there is now a major schism because the woman is faced with the challenge of vegan values at her wedding or no mother because her mother wants a sausage.
But also her mother's paying for a lot of the wedding as well. So does the mother actually have a say in this when you're substantially giving some cash towards this wedding?
She says, I want to throw a fully vegan wedding. Not even bring her in her own plate with her bangers and mash and be like, there you go, Mum, that's for you. But it is her belief. You know, she doesn't want to have anything like that there.
If you believe fundamentally that it's not a good thing to kill animals, you can't just sit there eating your lentils and saying, I murdered an entire herd of cattle to feed the rest of you. So you can see why she could commit to it.
Now, can I ask, and this is what we're going to ask you, we have a poll that we'd love to get you involved in. Would you go to a vegan wedding? Because if somebody invited me to a wedding, I'm not a big fan of weddings anyway, but then if somebody said, it's vegan only, because the one thing you like the old slap-up meal, don't you?
See, the problem...
Paul Knapp is over there going, you know, you're eating vegan food in just a little while.
We're having patatas bravas, that's okay. But if you're getting patatas...
That's the thing. Vegan is fine as long as it's a dinner, not an ideology. If you went to a wedding and somebody said, it's a bit of bruschetta, it's a mushroom risotto, you'd say, pasta pomodoro, sounds delicious.
Sounds lovely. You mightn't even notice.
It's hummus smeared on top of depressed lentils with some kind of chickpea beside.
We would get Paul Knapp to cater the wedding.
All complaints, please, Anton Savage. News Talk. News Talk is where you can find him. It is a pleasure to have you in, as always. Thank you so much, Anton Savage.
Thank you so much for that.
News Talk.
We'll have lots more after this break.
Good morning, you're very welcome back. Now, Kyiv will hold peace talks with Russia tomorrow if Moscow pulls out of all Ukrainian territory. President Vladimir Zelensky said at a summit for peace this weekend.
Joining us now is Ukrainian journalist Ilia Ponomarenko, whose online coverage of the Russian invasion has been constant since the beginning of the war 2 years ago. Ilia, thank you so much for joining us. You're a well-known face to so many people around the globe who have been following what you've been doing on the front line. But can we get your reaction to what President Zelensky said yesterday at this peace summit in Switzerland about being ready to go into talks if Moscow pulls out of Ukraine?
Well, of course, you know, that remains like a primary line for the Ukrainian government, for the Ukrainian nation, that we are a target in one of the largest European wars ever, and we are ready for any sort of negotiations, but on fair terms, not with the language of surrender, not with the language of capitulation, not through the language of subjugation. So essentially what happened yesterday and the entire line for the peace summit in Switzerland was the word to the world that we are ready for talks, but on fair terms, not in a way that is described as a way to peace with simply Ukrainian capitulation and subjugation to Russia. We want peace, but not surrender.
Yeah.
I think that's the main message.
Yeah, absolutely. It's over 2 years into the war at this stage. You're based just outside Kyiv. What is life like there at the moment?
One of the greatest victories of the Ukrainian military and the Ukrainian nation is that in much of Ukraine's territory, outside the Russian occupied zone, of course, life remains as close to normal as it possibly can. When it comes to Kiev, when it comes to many other cities of Ukraine, life is normal, even though we have severe problems with electricity right now because of Russian attacks on electricity grid. But at the same time, people adapt. We use technology to substitute the lack of electricity at the moment. Businesses work, restaurants work, cafes, lots of things, shopping malls. It's one of the greatest things that in the middle of one of the largest war ever, you can enjoy more or less normal life. You can pay taxes, you can work, you can consume services as closely to normal life, very normal life as it possibly is. And I must say that it's not a bad thing that in the middle of such a disaster, most of Ukraine can use the benefits of more or less normal life. It's a great victory, and also it's a good thing for morale because amid all the losses in the front line, amid a terrible situation in the front line too, amid all the grief that's happening, it's a very good thing for public morale in the middle of war, that you can simply go and enjoy your evening at a restaurant, for instance, in Kiev. So Ukraine adapts and has a good life because this is what nations do. They strive to be as normal as possible, despite all the...
When you read pieces about World War II, about life in the UK or in France, people went to the cinema, they still went to nightclubs, they still went out. It's kind of trying to keep that all going on. But you have written a book. It's called I Will Show You How It Was, the story of wartime Kyiv. And you have been on the front line for 2 years, like in those first few months, like seeing where you were, seeing buildings being destroyed, people underground. How do you feel now, 2 years on, about the world's focus on Ukraine? Do you feel like you've been abandoned? Do you feel like, unfortunately, other wars are taking precedence now? How do Ukrainians feel?
I definitely can't say that we feel abandoned. And what I should say is that many of us, myself included, definitely surprised about the fact that so many people in the world still care. They still pay attention to what's happening in Ukraine. For instance, the other day I was in Finland and I was genuinely surprised by the number of Ukrainian flags that one could see in the Finnish streets. So many people still care. So many people still send assistance. I mean, regular people, not necessarily politicians. So it's definitely it's a bit of a phenomena for the modern world, in which stories get up and leave immediately. That so many people still care about Ukraine, and Ukraine is still in the spotlight of world news, of media, and also of genuine public attention of so many people around the world. In many ways, that's because of the very black and white nature of this war. And because of the fact that this war is about so many basic morale that's pretty much deep inside in any human being. So this is why it touches upon so many people. So we definitely don't feel abandoned. I don't say that we are absolutely 100% happy about what people outside Ukraine do for us and help us. But it wouldn't be fair to say that Ukraine is abandoned. It's definitely not. And we truly feel this.
You've called
the book
yourself a love letter to Kyiv. Why did you decide to write it at this moment?
In many ways, I decided to write a book about the Battle of Kiev, the first chapter of Russia's full-scale invasion of the Blitzkrieg part of it. And in many ways, I decided to do a lot of description of what Kiev is, the capital city of Ukraine. I wanted people to understand and to see what a cool place it is, actually. It's a good place to live. It's a very vibrant city, but moreover, it's a place that is so significant in terms of its history, in terms of its civilizational significance, religion too. It's essentially Kiev is the place that is as significant to the Eastern Slavic world as, for instance, Rome is to Western Europe. So I wanted to describe what was at stake in those early days of Russia's invasion. I wanted people to understand why Russians wanted so much, because it's a place where it all begins for our part of civilization. And also it's a good place to live too. So I wanted to describe that it was such a terribly unfair situation that Russians was setting us to.
Yeah.
I wanted people to understand how high stakes were and how it would be a disaster that the enemy gets its hands on this ancient and beautiful city, actually.
Yeah, and of course, you know, it's had a very a mad history with Russia over the years and what's happened. Are you hopeful? Because clearly Ukrainians are Ukrainians and they're not going to give in. Are you hopeful that we can see an end to this in any time soon, Ilia?
I'm not sure about the word soon, but I think we have all the reasons to believe that at some point in the foreseeable future, we'll be in a situation where Russia will simply come to the point where it's not able to go on with this war anymore because of many reasons, because of economic reasons, because of the lack of ability of Russian military production to supplement this war, it go on fighting this war and to produce resources for this war. So I think at some point we will reach the point where all sides will decide to sit at the table and negotiate a sort of a more or less stable way out of this.
Yeah.
The problem is that we need to come to this point from the position of strength and to enforce the Russian need to negotiate and talk. And moreover, when it's over, hopefully, the day when it's over will be the beginning of the new struggle to prevent another war.
And
We hope so. We hope so. Well, listen, we all look forward to that day, and fingers crossed it is sooner rather than later. Ilia Ponomarenko, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and your book, I Will Show You How It Was, The Story of Wartime Kiev.
Thanks so much, Ilia. We'll be back with you in Ireland AM very shortly. Time now to take a look at this morning's paper, starting with the Irish Times. The headline there, Amazon raised doubts over data centre expansion. Online retail giant Amazon raised doubts about its capacity to expand its cloud computing presence in Ireland during recent lobbying of the government because of difficulties connecting new data centres that suck a lot of electricity to our electricity grid.
Patients left without care as dentists quit HSE scheme. Medical card holders in need of dental treatment are being left in the lurch as there are 252 fewer dentists in the scheme compared to last year. That's the front of the Irish Independent. The Examiner leads with Port's joint bid to tackle drugs trade. Irish authorities have set up a high-level implementation group to join a European ports network tasked with tackling the booming sea trade in international drug trafficking. Gilligan, cancer claims are rubbish. Mob boss blasts illness rumours as he takes out the trash. That's the headline of the Star. Similarly, the Mirror goes with it's a load of rubbish. Mobster puts out bin bags in Spain as cancer claims rejected. The Herald states IRA rapist set for D4 move. A former IRA member who was convicted of raping 2 teenage boys while hiding out in a Republican safe house is due to be released from prison next week.
And the Sun leads with Axeman shot in Euros fan zone. Gardaí in Germany pepper sprayed, then shot the man to stop him causing mayhem.
And finally, Fianna Fáil prepared to ditch the Greens in favour of Labour. That's the top story on the Daily Mail. Fianna Fáil is privately moving to ditch the Greens in favour of an arrangement with Labour following the local and European elections. Now, moving on to some other stories.
Yeah, we had lots of texts coming in because we were chatting earlier on in Making the News about a vegan wedding, and we saw this online where a couple were vegans, and especially the bride, she was a vegan, and she wanted to have a vegan wedding, but the mother, who was giving a substantial amount of money towards the wedding, didn't agree and wanted an proper mate wedding, some mate on the wedding. So we were just asking you what your opinion on that would be, and Irish said, yes, I agree to a vegan wedding.
Yeah, Brenda, it's the couple's day. They can do what they want. I think we had a poll up there, but we were all chatting inside here about parents. Would you be happy to go to a vegan wedding? Yes. 67%.
No.
It's one day with a bit of veg. Although we were saying in Ireland, you need the soakage.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Well, it's not really, the question, I think, is that if the parents are helping to pay for the wedding, should they have a say in the food?
Should they be allowed? But have a say in many things, in like the dress.
But then where do you draw the line?
But even say the parents are vegan, and the daughter and the new son-in-law are wanting to have a steak on the menu. So who gets to decide? So do you think, as parents, if you are willing to fund your daughter or son's wedding, do you get a say in what the food is? What the dress is going to look like?
But I know a huge amount of people.
Where would you draw the line, though?
But I don't think there is, because I know loads of people who got not the dress they liked, but it's the one their mother loved, because the mother was helping buy the dress.
Like Brenda said,
there's a lot of that goes on.
God,
a huge amount.
Yeah.
It's the couple's day. They can do what they want. Yes. But what if they're not paying for it?
Yeah. And next thing, the mother's going, I don't like that at all. I don't like the venue. I don't like this. And because a point is being made,
but then
a point is being made, it is also the parents' day, isn't it? If they're paying for it, they're bringing an awful lot of their friends to the wedding.
They're bringing all their family. This is their opportunity to bring their friends as well.
But then,
like they've been invited to weddings. It's their turn to repay the favour.
I know, but then that's the gift they're giving to their child. They shouldn't really get involved in what food is being served and what. And I do understand that, because I've seen that on even TV programmes where the mother would be going, that's the one, and the girl's going, but, and you're going, no, but that's the one.
And then she looks like Maria in the nun's outfit from The Sound of Music.
How involved do your parents did they get in the wedding?
We'd love to hear from you.
Oh, yeah. And
we'll keep it anonymous or not, if you want to put it out there about the mother-in-law.
And if they were paying for it, do they have a say, and how much of a say would they get?
0896 111 111. I have a feeling that parents might think that they weren't involved at all, and that the children might think that they were very involved.
If they were lucky enough to have
stories.
Paul Knapp cooking a vegan dinner for them at their wedding, then they'd be flying.
Paul was even saying, Paul has a new catering company, but he was saying there'd be a lot of hotels, especially in Ireland, if you rocked up and said, there's 180 people coming, we want it all vegan, they mightn't be able to cope with that. They might have to, the chef go,
to be fair,
what do we do? Now, a lot of them would.
He specialised.
Yeah, but Paul specialised, but that's what we were saying.
Get in touch, 0896 111 111. Send us in your texts.
After the break, you know her best as young offenders, Siobhan Walsh.
Yes, Cork actress Jennifer Barry will be here to talk TV roles and dealing with trolls.
See you back here in a few minutes.
You're very welcome back. Now, The Young Offenders has produced some amazing talent, including Jennifer Barry, who was just 16 years of age when she joined the series.
Now, with the fourth series only recently released, the last just keep on coming, of course. Jennifer, hello, how are you?
How are you both?
It is lovely, lovely, lovely to have you here, because we have watched you grow up on our screens.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since it all started, and I suppose it's great to just be able to celebrate the fourth series and watch that come out and be here with you to talk about it.
Because this is, like, you were 16 years old, it's 8 years later, fourth series, a movie, and you shot, even before the pandemic, you shot the audition tape at home, did you?
Yeah, I did. So I shot the audition tape in 2017, and I was 16 years old at the time. I just finished transition year in school, and I saw that Joe.ie had posted an article looking for people to to audition for this new show, and I really didn't know anything about it. I hadn't watched the movie at that stage yet. But yeah, look, they wanted people from Cork, so I just wrote a little thing and just put it up on YouTube, and then...
And you know what I love about this is that we have a little clip of it. Let's take a look.
I'll be able to do this.
Yeah.
Connor, come here, I want you a second. Why are you telling everyone I got with Liam Barry? Oh, 'cause she looked like me, did she? You can't be telling people I got with him. 'Cause I didn't get with him, he's my cousin. Besides, even if he wasn't my cousin, I still wouldn't get with him. Think I shipped a dopey looking fella like that? Nah, boy. Anyway, I'm getting with Sean Casey tonight. Said he'd buy me a nagging if I got with him. Who's Sean Casey? Have you been living under a rock? Sean Casey plays county minor.
Oh, you're awful for doing that.
That's really good.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was so long ago, and I suppose we were kind of thinking, like, me and my friends in school used to always kind of like have the crack and like talk and like call ourselves like just think da and like all those kind of things. And we were big fans of the Cork Miners at the time. They were the hotties in our area, so I had to include them.
God, you were her. It's amazing, like, to have it. Such when you join the gang.
Yeah.
Because you are a gang.
Yeah, we're a family.
You are. Like, I've heard you talk about it before, as though we're not always in each other's pockets, but we're proper mates, and I know I can depend on them.
Yeah, for sure. We you know, we're not kind of catching up every single day, because everyone has their own jobs, you know, at the end of the day, we're all kind of going off and doing different things. But when we do come back together, it's like nothing has changed. We're all growing together, for sure. And like, they've been with me for all of my adult life, which is mad to think about. Eddie's shopping for knickers and someone did follow me around, so I bought them. So you know my size and you know what knickers I wear, so congratulations. But, yeah, you get used to it, but maybe not the knickers part. But
I just thought you were into the changing room. Thank God they don't allow that in Penny's. That's just the thing. But it's sort of intense where, like, I've had a few of the lads in kind of been like, we are so recognisable now in all different places. But what's it like going back for the 4th season? There was a big break. And at this stage, you're kind of known around the world. Once it goes on Netflix, and it was very popular. What's that like? Kind of, was it trepidation to be like, God, what's this season going to be like?
Do you know what? I think there was a little bit of pressure, for sure. I think, especially because we kind of grown up, we were older, people weren't so sure where the story was going to go. And we knew that there was that kind of responsibility there, especially after the first 3 series had done so well. But coming back to that and knowing we had a responsibility and a duty to kind of serve the best we could and give it our all. But personally, I think Series 4 is one of the best.
Yeah.
Like, it was the most enjoyable to film, and coming back with everyone just wanted to make it again.
And whenever you have that gap and you come back together, it's like you haven't been away, I'd imagine, which is what's the best thing about Friends. You started when you were 16. We just mentioned it at the top there. Like, that's tough. We saw your audition tape there. You're having the fun, talking with the Cork Miners, whatever else. But actually, you threw yourself into a world there where things aren't always easy.
Yeah, for sure. I think I didn't realise at the time how much my life would change. And Peter Foot, the creator of the show, did kind of sit myself and Demi, who plays my sister, down. And he was like, you need to understand that your life is never going to be the same after this. And we were kind of like, yeah, sure. But it really did change.
Really, you didn't take it serious.
I suppose I did take it seriously, but I just didn't expect it to change as much. And when then the pandemic came and stuff, you feel, because like no one was working, but because we were so new into it, we didn't realise that no one else was working either. So we kind of, I think, well, personally for me, I panicked a little bit and kind of put myself out there a bit too much, maybe. Online, because that was the only way we could at the time. Definitely like overshared and kind of let people into my lives a bit too much, and that kind of resulted in like your typical kind of trolls and people who wouldn't necessarily be as kind. They kind of took advantage of the fact that I was taking advantage of going online myself. So I've learned to definitely kind of like rein it in, and I don't really share as much online anymore. Yeah.
Because you have had you have had mental health difficulties, but not just that, it has been more than that for you, where there was a diagnosis involved.
Yeah. So I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety when I was 18, when I was in 6th year. Wrong time, to be honest. Worst timing. And like it's taken, like I remember being on Ray Darcy like way back then and being like, yeah, I'll come off my meds at the end of the year, really proud of myself. And like, no, I'm still on them. it takes a long time to get better from that.
Yeah.
But like that, a really important step is kind of just like stepping back and kind of closing yourself off a little bit and maybe not wearing your heart on your sleeve as much and looking after yourself.
Absolutely.
How difficult was it?
Sorry?
How difficult? Like these trolls, everybody says, oh, just don't read it. Forget about it.
Yeah.
But it's not easy, particularly not when you're 16, 17, 18.
Oh, sure. I love knowing what people think about me. Like, I'm nosy out, to be honest. I've learned not to now, but I would have gone searching when I was younger. And like when you're 16, 17, you don't realise how much that's going to have an effect on you. But yeah, I think now, thankfully, like I'm in a much better place and I'm doing so much better. I'm really happy. I'm the happiest I've ever been, to be honest.
Advice for anyone?
In terms of your mental health?
Social media,
yeah,
trolls.
Just really, 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 like, I think staying away from social media maybe as much as possible. It's really hard now to do that. But if you can, like, maybe like limit yourself to a certain amount of time. Don't read DMs, don't get involved with just don't get involved with the people who are saying nasty things. Stay away from it if you can.
Go. You've got to go outside.
Yeah, you've got to just ignore it.
You've got a lot going on. You're still in college, finishing college. After that, you want to go to London. You want to do all these things because there's so much happening with people from Cork right now doing incredibly well.
Yeah.
But one of the draws to staying in Cork, obviously, is your brother, Jack.
Yes.
And you're doing something with Jack at the moment for Down Syndrome Ireland.
Yes, so myself and my brother Jack is actually here at the moment, but myself and my brother Jack are officially ambassadors for Down Syndrome Ireland now, which is a huge honour. Jack has Down syndrome, which is when there's an extra chromosome. So basically, my brother Jack is my bestest friend. That is an awful photograph. Oh my God. That is a horrible photo.
We got it from you.
Why did you choose that?
We got it.
I gave you so many. No, but Jack, yes. So Jack is probably my bestest friend. He is one in a million. He is the kindest soul. And yeah, we are officially both ambassadors for Down Syndrome Ireland now. And we're especially looking forward to Ice Cream Fun Day, which is all this week. And you can register online at downsyndromeIreland.ie. It's a great way to raise money for the charity, which for Down Syndrome Ireland, because it's a non-profit organisation. You get loads of
and just host an ice cream party in your school, home, anywhere, just to raise funds.
Yeah,
amazing.
Anywhere you can, and you said it much better.
And he's such a character as well. Met him outside too. He wants to be an actor potentially as well.
He does. Oh my God, if you got him on this couch now, he'd never stop talking about it.
Nepo brother.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm nepotising off him. He's a lot better than I am, I'll tell you that much. He's amazing. He's my bestest friend, yeah.
Best friend, and he's outside. We're going out to have a chat with him right now. Just to let you know, Down Syndrome Ireland, find out more. These are ice cream funds. They've been going for years, and it's a great. They need to get the money this way because they're a non-profit.
Absolutely.
Jennifer, Barry, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for popping in. It's amazing to see you. So good.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks for staying with us. Now, today we've a dish for when you'd rather be sitting in the sun with a glass of sangria in your hand. Oh, we love that. Paul Knapp is here showing us how we can bring a little bit of summer holiday home with us with some fiery Patatas Bravas. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, guys. How are you getting on? Yes.
So we were talking about vegan foods and vegan weddings.
Yes.
And you're our vegan chef, so this is lovely. But everybody loves this now.
I think it is because, like, I suppose sometimes you can make vegan food, so you're going to have to remove certain things. So you're going to remove dairy and eggs and stuff like that. Then you're actually going to cook food that is actually just food, and this is just food. The only slight difference that we've made is with the aioli, but you don't have to have that. So you could just have this, and in itself it's just food. Like, you know what I mean? So you don't have to. So all of the ingredients is up on Island Dam's Facebook page as well as Virgin Media One. So
Patatas Bravas when I see it on the menu.
It's so simple. And I say tapas, just small little bites as an appetizer. You've got a few little bits and pieces there. So as I say there, what we're going to do is, I suppose, a little tip that you mentioned earlier on that I showed when I was cooking these, blanching these off. A pot of boiling water and your potatoes that are about kind of peeled and about 2-inch cubed. I've used a Maris Piper, or you can use kind of like a rooster as well. I use a kind of a selection of both, just threw them in there.
Okay.
But bring the water to a boil and put in about 3/4 of a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. And all you see, it just slightly fizzes up there. So that makes that now quite alkaline.
Is there salt in there as well?
No, it's just bicarb of soda. Okay. So then I put that in there. And when I put my potatoes in there, right, you know, normally if you're doing, say, like a roast potato and you want to scuff them up, you'll parboil them for maybe like 5 or 6 minutes or something like that. Yeah. You'll drain them and then you scuff them into the thing. So they're kind of 3/4 cooked. With this, leave them in here for about 2 minutes. Bring the water back up to the boil, about 2 minutes, and drain them. And when you drain them, what it does is the alkaline water starts to break down the starch on the outside of the potato. So what it does is it gives you straight away that almost fluffy exterior.
All right.
Leave them then to dry, because what that's going to do, as it dries, what it's going to do is it's going to create like a dry surface, a fluffy surface, and that loves kind of the hot oil, which makes it lovely, crispy and crunchy. Okay?
Does that mean they need to go in for longer into the oven then?
They go in there, yes, exactly. So they go in there for about 40-45 minutes. So
preheated
preheated oven.
Cooked in the inside though?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course they are. Yeah, well, you've already eaten half of them, like, you know what I mean? So,
Even though we're not supposed to be eating them, we've had a few.
They're hidden away. So what you do is you put one to here,
Not touching them. I'm not touching them.
We put one to here. We're just going to put a little drizzle of oil on there, okay? Once they came out of that and drained, I just salted them ever so slightly with a little bit of salt, and again, I just put a little bit of sea salt on them as well. As I say, about 40-45 minutes, 180 degrees, and again, in they go like so, okay? So we can leave those in there and we can forget about those. So now we're going to make our Patatas Bravas sauce, okay? So what we're going to do is, it's that kind of traditional onions. We put a little bit of oil in there first, it always helps, like, you know what I mean? Okay. The power of TV. So we're going to put a little bit of oil in there, and then what we do is we're just going to cook this down. Now, real time, we're going to cook this for around about sort of like 8 to 10 minutes, because you want to go nice and soft. We're not frying, we're not sautéing, it's just a nice kind of medium to low heat. Yeah, so you want to kind of just go lovely and soft and stuff like that, all right? Beautiful. So we'll be cooking these down. So after sort of about 5 minutes or so, we can add in our garlic. So what we're putting in is we're putting in onions, garlic, a lovely sweet paprika, okay? You can use a smoked paprika if you like a smoky flavour, or you can use a sweet one. If you don't have sweet or smoked...
there was 2 different types of paprika.
Yeah, there's sweet, smoked, there's a spicy and stuff like that. So there's all different variations of paprika.
Paprika was paprika. Okay.
Yeah, well, if you just have paprika, just put it in there. You don't have to, do you know what I mean? But the sweet one gives it... You will pick up those different undertones of those flavours if you put them in there, okay? So this would have been cooking in real time for, say, sort of like 8 minutes or so. And then we're going to put in there 3 cloves of garlic. So it's a heavily garlic dish as well. Yeah. And I think, like, again, you go on holidays and one of the first things you probably notice is the amount of garlic that's in your food.
With the aioli as well, it's got the garlic in it, doesn't it? Mayonnaise and garlic.
With the garlic as well, absolutely, yeah. So on part of your dish there, I put some roasted chickpeas. So the byproduct of the roasted chickpeas, they've just got some spices in them. The byproduct is obviously that water, the aquafaba. So with the aquafaba, you can use it in bacon, you can use it for making meringues and stuff like that. But what you can also do is make a mayonnaise. So it's the same kind of way of making mayonnaise with vinegar, with some mustard and other bits and pieces.
So
and
use the water from the
chickpea water, which will make your mayonnaise, which is there. So yeah, so then that's our aioli. So that's the vegan version. Again, once you just... If you give people food and don't say what it is, they'll eat it and say it's lovely. Yeah. If you stick a label in front of it, all of a sudden people become
the beauty of your food every time, Paul. You wouldn't know. You generally wouldn't know it's vegan.
But that's what we were talking about. Would you go to a vegan wedding? We're saying if you didn't make it a big thing, you're going to a vegan wedding.
Absolutely.
And just put a lot of this type of stuff out. People would be milling in.
But again, 90% of what you're going to eat, normally, or 80% of your plate is plant-based anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's meat and potatoes. So it's potatoes, it's vegetables and stuff like that, and there's salads and all these other stuff.
We kind of make a big deal out of it, where generally it doesn't have to. The problem is if it's not good. The fact is with you, Paul, when you do your vegan food, it's very well substituted. You wouldn't even know.
Absolutely. I'm just going to pop in there is 2 to 3 teaspoons of the paprika. Okay. I was somewhere there last week getting some food. It was in a restaurant. And they've got a good reputation for cooking food, but the meal I got, because I got the vegan version, it actually wasn't brilliant. But I think it's because they're not set up, they're not used to, and they're not experienced.
Exactly.
So it's because it's for them. If they sat there and said, you know, we're offering like a full vegan menu, you say it's cool. They're cooking it all the time, so therefore they'll become well versed in it and they'll become kind of experienced.
I suppose it's like any chef in a hotel, Paul. They'd be used to doing small portions, but if you do it for 180 people and do a variety of stuff, that's going to put a lot of pressure on the kitchen for a wedding.
Listen,
all vegan.
But if you come to our house, everything in our house is vegan. So that goes down to the lifestyle products that would be in there, as well as all the food in the cupboard.
How many do you host as a reception?
No, but I'm just saying 8 to 10 people. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, if you come to somewhere that's set up for something, it's really easy.
Yeah, but a hotel wouldn't actually be not for 100 or 200 people.
I've put in a can of tomatoes into there.
Tomatoes,
chopped tomato goes into there, OK? And then what I've got is sun-dried tomato paste. So it's kind of like posh tomato puree. It's a little bit more expensive.
I was going to say, you don't put in the puree first, no.
The tomato puree, or you can put it in at the same time as your tomatoes, OK? So that goes in there, and then we're going to put in about half to a quarter teaspoon of chili flakes just to give it a little kick. And all I'm going to do is just a little drizzle of maple syrup goes in there as well, just to kind of make it a little bit sweeter. And then what we would do, we would just cook that, because sometimes the tomatoes can be a little bit bitter.
Would you do that now if you're doing like a spag bol or something as well?
All the time, yeah. A little bit of balsamic and a little bit of maple syrup. Yep, all the time.
A bit of honey in a spag bol sauce.
Maple syrup.
Or maple syrup, sorry.
Hold on, balsamic and
just to try and find the balance for that. We cook that out then for about 10 minutes or so, okay? And then what we do is we get out our potatoes. So here's what it looks like when it cooks down. What they say is you could blitz it if you wanted to and puree it and make it more of a sauce. I like that kind of chunky and rustic taste to it, like that.
Like the bolognese.
Absolutely.
The fact that you've cooked it nice and slow as well.
Yeah. So what we get then is we get our patatas like so, and we put those into here like this.
Them now.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Well, here we
So what we've got, here's some. Look, there's a bigger one and a smaller one. So here's one we prepared earlier. There's one for young Thomas.
There we go.
And there's one for you, sir. Okay.
Now we're talking.
And you just basically put the sauce on top.
And then all we do is we take our Patatas Bravas sauce and we just dish this over the top like so. So the sauce is warm, the potatoes are hot and stuff like that, and put those over there. We take our alioli, which is our garlic mayonnaise, and we can just drizzle that all over the top of this like that. I've just watered this down ever so slightly, okay? So you're going to get the garlic, you're going to get the tomato, you're going to get the potato, a little bit of just fresh, finished parsley just to top that off like so. Like so. Happy days. Off you go.
It's absolutely, seriously.
We might as well be in Spain. It is a Spanish dish, isn't it?
Yep.
Love it.
Love it. Paul Knapp, our firefighting chef, thank you so much.
You're more than welcome.
Absolutely
Cheers, guys.
brilliant.
It's really good. Now, coming up next, Derek delves into the deep history of the Royal Hospital in Kilmainham.
Yeah, we're going to find out more after the break. These are delish.
Really good.
Welcome back. Now Derek is exploring one of Dublin's oldest landmarks this morning.
Yes, he's flexing his green thumbs at the Royal Hospital in Kilmainham.
Take it away, Derek.
Yes, guys, look, I'm practicing my portrait pose. Anyway, we're delighted to be down here on the grounds of Royal Hospital Kilmainham, right across the moor. We are taking you on a tour of the grounds and the gardens itself. Ellen Barnacle is with us. Good morning to you, Ellen. How are you?
Derek. How are you?
Great. Now, Ellen, beautiful, beautiful building. You are a tour guide here. How long are you doing the job?
I've been on the job as the head guide here for a year. But I've been with the OPW 6.5 years.
OK, now tell us about the beautiful building just over our shoulder here.
So the building behind us started construction in 1680 as a nursing or retirement home for predominantly Irish veterans of the British Armed Forces to be taken care of in their old age and infirmary. They first veterans or pensioners, as they're known, move in within 4 years and will be here until 1927.
OK, so just after the foundation of the state.
Absolutely.
OK, and there is some beautiful, as we walk through the buildings, some beautiful areas. And in fact, the north wing, I suppose, is your pièce de résistance.
Yes, so our north range houses our Baroque Protestant chapel, where you would find stained glass windows with the coat of arms of many of the masters of the hospital here, alongside a gift from Queen Victoria at the east end of it.
That beautiful ceiling, hopefully we have shots of it on air at the moment. We take a look up and it is absolutely incredible.
Stunning, and it's absolutely amazing that it has been preserved and survived to this day for people to enjoy.
There's also a pulpit in there. What was that room used for?
So that would have been where they would have had mass. They would have also had service as well, at least once a week.
Once a week. Now we walk and talk through the building and we land into the gallery, and this is absolutely incredible. It's gorgeous.
Yes, so that would have been the Great Hall, which is where the soldiers would have had their meals 3 times a day, but also where they could have spent their time relaxing and spending time in camaraderie as well. It was highly decorated with portraiture, many of them tied to the use of the site, but also with armoury as well, many of it coming from the Tower of London.
Now, what viewers will notice from looking at the shots on air is that a lot of the photos, in fact, all of them are blacked out at the moment. Why is that?
So what's happening is they are in place so that they can be conserved. So we've placed something in between so that people get an idea of the spectacle of the space.
OK. There's obviously a lot of conservation work ongoing here at the moment. Tell us about the restoration work.
So what's being done is you're looking at preserving holes, looking at anywhere that they need repainting, stabilising, to ensure they have the integrity that to allow future generations to enjoy them just as much as we have.
And do you love working here?
Absolutely adore it. I'm a history nerd, so it's right up my alley.
Absolutely, very like myself. Now, we're going to pop over here and say hello to Mary Condon. And in fact, Mary, you are the head gardener
here. I am indeed.
And you're here 24 years.
24 years gone by in the blink of an eye now, I have to say, yeah.
Now,
So
you have a
place.
big property here. Tell us about it.
So it's 48 acres. So we have 3 historical graveyards, Bully's Acre being the oldest. That dates back to the 7th century. We have the meadows, which are used for concerts and various other events like that. And then we have this lovely 5-acre walled-in garden.
I mean, this walled-in garden, you were telling me this is based on a French-themed garden, right?
So it's a French-themed garden. There was a movement back in the 1650s, Gardens of Versailles. So this became a very fashionable look to a garden. And as a result, then, when the building was built here, the gardens were laid out in a French style. It was known as the Master's Garden, so the Master had a great view of this garden from his upper floors where he was actually living. Yeah.
Mary, the upkeep on this garden, it must be a lot of hard work, right?
I have a great team. I've Will, Trace and Derek. Every day they turn up and we hit the ground running on a Monday morning. And Friday we are exhausted, but the place is looking all the better for us.
I mean, what are you working on at the moment?
So at the moment we're working on the topiary. So we're trying to just clip all our topiary, and that's obviously the backbone of the garden. So as long as that looks sharp and well, the gardens look very, very well. Every day it's maintenance of grass, watering maybe, and we're also looking after our flower displays as well. We've lots of herbaceous borders, although this looks quite formal here in this shot. We have the herbaceous borders right and left of the
And
gardens.
you have about 10,000 people coming down here a year, so big visitor numbers.
Yeah, we get very early morning visitors from maybe the Hilton Hotel visiting the site, out for a walk, and they can't believe they stumble upon this place here, and they think it's absolutely magical.
It is. It's really magical and right slap bang in the heart of the city centre.
Yeah.
Just right behind you, just over your shoulder, we have a beautiful building. What is that, Mary?
So that building was built in the 1700s, and it was built as a banqueting hall for the Master of the Royal Hospital. So he would invite his guests in. The gardens were used at that point to show off to your friends what a wealthy person you were, or what status you had in Ireland at the time. And he would take tea down there. So he had a beautiful view of the Liffey and also a gorgeous view of the Phoenix Park as well. Sort of a 360 view of the whole area
Have
here.
you ever had tea in there yourself?
I've been up there many times. I've never taken tea.
And I mean, the OPW have done great work here restoring the gardens,
They
because
have.
it wouldn't have been like this 100 years ago.
No, it had many lives, and where it was the Master's Garden laid out as a sort of a formal entertaining area, it then became a market garden, a fruit and veg garden. Basically, the pensioners would have come out themselves. They would have worked here, and it became a very busy garden producing fruit and veg for the pensioners. And they actually made a tunnel as well into the kitchens, so they wouldn't have to bring the fruit and veg up the steps.
And I know biodiversity quite big here too.
Huge, yeah. We manage the site very much for biodiversity. We don't use any sprays as much as we can. We encourage all wildlife. Our planting is very much in tune with biodiversity. We leave the meadows and everything.
And keep it chemical free. Ellen, before we let you go, where can we find out more online?
You can find more information out at heritageireland.ie. The OPW is constantly recruiting through our LinkedIn page as well.
All right, so there we have it. I hope you enjoyed the tour of the gardens and the building itself. For me and all the gang here, my Charlie's Angels. Come on, ladies. Back to you in studio. Pow, pow, pow.
There you go, Charlie's Angels.
Oh, what's that theme
I'm
tune?
so sorry to those girls.
I've
What
no
was the theme
idea.
tune?
How does he get
What?
get
Morning,
to do it?
Charlie.
Anyway,
To
thank
people.
you, Derek. And
Thank
everyone.
you, Derek.
There's always something. Night Rider tomorrow, maybe. Coming up in the final hour of Ireland AM, we find out how to retrain our brains to gain the life that we want.
And we're going into luxury and exploring the old money aesthetic. What's that mean now, Maren?
You think I've got money?
We're also going to
That's
discover
fashion coming up a little later.
the
also.
most Irish toys ever. They're
Yes.
a great laugh. All coming up here on Ireland AM. Thank you very much, Derek. While he pops inside to the courtyard, let's talk about weddings, Alan. So, if a parent or the parents were paying for a substantial sum towards a wedding...
Yeah, this is what we were talking about earlier on, that we saw it online that a girl was having a wedding and she was vegan and she wanted the whole day to be vegan. And her parent, well, her mother was paying a substantial amount towards the wedding. The mother didn't agree with the wedding being vegan. So we asked you, What do you think about this? And if you are paying towards a wedding, should you have a say?
Just say the mother just wanted a non-vegan meal.
Well, she just wanted a meal.
And your one said no, she wanted
she just wanted a non-vegan meal. She said, can I have a bit of meat?
Said we paid a substantial amount towards our daughter's wedding. They made all their own decisions on the band, the dress, the venue, everything. We felt it was their day and this was our gift to them. Our own friends that were invited, we paid for their meal as well as they were our guests, and we had a great weekend.
That's lovely.
Jen says, I think if your parents are paying or even contributing to the wedding, there should be more appreciation and thought given. Most people need that contribution to get the wedding over the line. So I believe you should be grateful and compromise where you can. Either way, they are giving their money to help, so this should be acknowledged. Absolutely.
So if the money...
Where do you compromise, though?
I'm going to Daniel O'Donnell at the wedding.
We have a message. Whoever is paying should have their say. There you go.
So well, Daniel did one song from
Right, Daniel, would you any chance you'd make her so happy if you came along to the wedding?
But it is true, and we were asking this earlier on, where do you draw the line if you are? And Muireann, I know you were saying a lot of brides that maybe the mother's they sort of like the dress and they were okay with it, but then the mother goes, that's the one, and that's the one they end up wearing.
Alan is right. If the parents are paying, it is a gift therefore they should let the couple decide. My father-in-law interfered a lot and it still annoys me to this day. But if they're paying, right, and they want to have a few extra of their friends there, would you be happy for a few of your friends to miss out?
No, now.
Why not? They're paying for it. They should have their friends there too.
I think that Ger makes an amazing point.
Ger
says, it's like giving my daughter a gift voucher and telling her what to buy with it. That's a good one, Ger. That's a great way.
And also JJ,
looking at it.
Like talking about the mother earlier on, will she want to go on the honeymoon as well? You know, I'm giving you the money. Where are we going?
Yeah, a gift is a gift, I suppose.
A gift is a gift,
JJ said, will the mother want to go on honeymoon as well? Maybe, if she's paying for it.
Did I just say
did you just say that one? Sorry.
Tommy listens to us intently here on the show.
Derek says, I was told my mother-in-law was bringing us shopping for our suits and shoes. 14 suits and 10 pairs of shoes later, we got the first ones we tried on. The joys of keeping everyone happy.
So
oh my God.
Did 4 people not need new clothes or new shoes?
No, it's that she was buying maybe 2 of them, the mother-in-law, but she made them try on 14 suits, even though they ended up getting the first one. You just want to know. You just want to check.
Try them on. Thank you very much for your text on all that this morning. Very
weddings, so easy, aren't they? Now, up next, we're going to be finding out, this could be involved in your future wedding, how to perfect the power of manifesting to get the life that you desire.
Yes, a renowned neuroscientist is going to tell us how.
Yeah, very interesting. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Ireland AM. Now, manifesting, it has become huge on social media with the hashtag accumulating 36 billion views on TikTok. But what exactly is it?
Yes, here to discuss the art of manifesting and its foundation in science is neuroscientist and author Dr. Sabina Brennan. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you? Congratulations on your new book, The Neuroscience of Manifesting. It's your 3rd book on the brain.
Yes.
But you've gone into manifesting. What is manifesting?
Well, I'll kind of start answering that by saying what it's not.
Okay.
It's not thinking your dreams into being. It's, you can't magic something into existence. You can't defy physics, but you can, through considered action, make your goals come true. So manifesting, actually, when you peel away some of the woo, I call it in the book, weeding out the woo, at the core, what you find in manifesting is that it's a very pragmatic, practical approach to transforming your thinking, your thoughts into reality by developing discipline and taking considered action to, so that you continue to focus on and attain those goals.
So an awful lot of it has been, and certainly in the last 2 years, people talking about manifesting, and it's like, I want a new car.
Yeah.
And I want a new car. Get up every morning, say that to yourself, because it does seem an awful lot of it quite materialistic things.
Yes.
But if you don't actually work to get that new car. You're not going to get that car, right?
No, absolutely not.
This is where the disconnect is, where it's like, if I put it into the universe, it'll come back to me.
Yeah, so that's the misconceptions, that are there. However, manifesting, and I've read a lot of manifesting books when I was researching this, because, I kind of feel I became a neuroscientist and a psychologist because I want people to help people understand how their brains work, so they can understand how they work, so that they can then work to achieve their goals or optimize their true potential. And I saw a lot of parallels in manifesting when you actually dive deep down, because that's really kind of what manifesting is doing. At the core, there are some very specific steps, like gaining clarity, making sure that your thinking, actions and behaviour are aligned with your vision and your goals, but also with your true authentic self. And it is grounded on, self-kindness and compassion. And then there are some very specific techniques like affirmations, visualization, gratitude journals, regular journaling, that have tons of scientific support underneath them and that are used by practitioners. In the book, I actually referred to, psychologists, psychotherapists, sports coaches, but actually I got a lovely message from a cardiologist who said, Sabina, you forgot to mention doctors. He said, I use manifesting practices to help my patients achieve better heart health. And so how? Because he gets them to think about, which is what manifesting is. What's your goal? I need to improve my heart health. Okay, the brain is brilliant at what's called solving inverse problems. You know the end result, how do you get there? And your brain can work backwards. So basically that's it. You want good heart health. What do you have to do that? Well, you need to watch your diet. So you need to cut out, get your cholesterol level down. What else do you need to do? You need to exercise. It's very practical, it's very pragmatic, but it helps people to stay focused. The thing is, what we're referring to and what TikTok is referring to, that manifesting really should be referred to as conscious manifesting, because every single day of our lives, we are unconsciously manifesting our future. So if I just think I want to have a shower, well, what steps do I have to take to have a shower? I take those steps and then, wow, I've manifested me having a shower. That's what we do. The thing is, we do that unconsciously. I know it sounds funny, but...
No, it's just the word, it's just kind of thrown out nilly-willy when it's like you just got to do it in everyday life.
Manifesting just means making things happen.
Okay.
So the thing is, when you do it unconsciously, this is where the problems occur with unconscious manifesting. It's influenced by your limiting beliefs. It's influenced by your unconscious biases. It's influenced by your brain's best guesses, about what might happen. What manifesting does is gets you to consciously manifest your future.
And there's a lot of people who have these dreams and have these visions of what they want to do, and they feel that saying it out, once you put it out there and you say it, then it kind of writes it out and you have to try and follow it. We have a clip, because a lot of people have these dreams, but they don't all come true. This is one band who did come true for her.
4 years. It's now the 26th of June 1998. By the 26th of June 2002, the Coldplay, or the band, whatever they're called then, will be known just all over, man. We're going to be so proud. So Spinal Tap, Guy, Will, John and Chris. Don't you forget. Massive. Absolutely huge.
So there you have it. There's Coldplay, obviously.
Isn't it brilliant?
Mega success. And 4 years later, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But would all bands not kind of put out there? Like, what makes them different?
Well, I don't know them personally, and I don't know their personal story. What I can recognise is
athletes.
Enthusiasm.
Like, I would see kids, and they all kind of go, I'm going to be the next Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. But it's easy kind of put it out there and having that dream. What is it, though, that gets people to that level?
Action, focused attention. A lot of people... Discipline. That's what I said at the very start.
And talent, right, for some of these people?
For some things, yes, talent. I mean, all of this has to be grounded in a certain measure of reality. But also not just reality. And it's one thing with manifesting, I find, is it's very important to get across. We all don't start our manifesting journey from the same point. Everybody's brain is different. It has evolved, you know, through your life. It's been influenced by different things, and you've had different experiences. I use an example in the book of a couple who want to manifest better health. And so they know that they need to eat better, exercise more, and sleep well. Now, the guy in the couple does really well, and the girl is floundering, and she's not, and she just kind of could consider herself a failure. But if she actually understood, so one step really in the book is to self-awareness. It's one really solid thing about manifesting. It gets you to kind of look at yourself and what's, you know, who you really are. The reason she's not doing well is she has a genetic predisposition to insomnia. So she doesn't sleep very well at night, okay? When you don't sleep, you'll consume between 300 and 600 more calories a day. You're going to feel too tired to exercise. You're going to seek those calories from sugar and fat, right? So essentially, instead of this further down the line goal, actually, if she knew herself and you know, has taken that time, actually her first goal should be, I need to focus on my sleep. I need to address whether that's by getting help from someone, you know, who offers help to people who sleep. So it's very important to understand yourself first. You have to know who you are before you really know where you want to go. And you were talking earlier about a lot of materialism, and I've nothing against people wanting material things. We all do.
Absolutely.
But if you strip away, keep asking why. Why do I want that? Why is it I want that? And keep getting till you can't answer anymore. What you will come to is, I want to be happy. I want to be content in my life. Or maybe I want my life to have meaning and purpose. And when you get to know yourself, understanding your passion, your true passion, well, what are the things that when I'm doing it, I'm in the flow. I don't notice time passing. I'm totally absorbed. I'm in the moment. I'm actually engaging in focused action going forward, but I'm also in the zone.
I find that really interesting, engaging in focused action, because this is all about action and taking this. Did you do that? Did you visualise?
Massive,
It was a huge thing in sport, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
so would you sit there and be like, okay, we're visualising the match this weekend?
Everybody does it. You do it for going to the shower. It's an everyday thing, but yes, visualisation. Obviously, discipline is a massive part of that.
Yes, discipline is huge.
Like, we can all have dreams, but you need the goals, the week, the days.
Yes, and so you worked on it.
But the thing about discipline is, and where manifesting comes in is, so that focused attention requires self-regulation, being disciplined. Manifesting helps you to be disciplined because you keep your goals at the forefront. You have your checklist, you know what you should be doing, you're saying the affirmations, you're visualising what needs to happen. And you know from sport, visualising, you know, a golf swing or whatever is as good as practicing that swing, because it activates the same parts of areas of the brain.
But you visualise an interview. You visualise talking to you. You visualise going in to talk to your boss. You visualise sitting down having a conversation with your wife.
And that builds your confidence as well. It allows you rehearse for what's going to happen. Also allows you figure out that, actually, do you know what? Ooh, when I think it right through, I don't think I really want that. But the power of visualization, one of the ways that really demonstrates how brilliant it is and how powerful, is that if a person has a stroke as a consequence of a blocked artery, the area is deprived of blood and nutrients that it needs. So it dies, brain cells dies, and it will spread very, very quickly, and surrounding areas will become damaged. Now, if patients are asked to visualise blood flowing to their arm or their leg or wherever it is, the blood starts to flow there and prevents further damage. So we have huge power over...
Is there science behind that?
Yes, there is science, yes.
No, honestly, because...
No, absolutely. That's what's to say. You see, we forget. Our brain influences our bodies and our emotions, but also what we feel influences our brain. That's why acting as if really works, because if you stand confident and positive, your brain goes, oh, I'm confident and positive about this. Vice versa, you know, if you do the opposite.
So as a neuroscientist, like, you've done 2 books, 100 Days to a Younger Brain, Beating Brain Fog. This was an interesting topic to go into, but this is obviously something you 100% believe in and think that people...
do you know what, to be honest...
It's not the woo side of it.
It's not the woo. My mission really is to help people understand their brains and optimise their function, and this is a way to do it. And I just wanted to weed out the woo, because some of it can be sending people in wrong directions. I mean, the message I want to get across is that absolutely the power to manifest, you don't have to invoke other forces, the universe, our spiritual forces or whatever, higher forces. You can if you want to.
But there's a lot of work. Yeah.
The power is in your brain and there's a lot of work involved.
Called The Neuroscience of Manifesting. Dr. Sabina Brennan, thank you so much for joining us today. Brand new book
Sabina.
out
Thank you.
now. Welcome back to Ireland AM. We are showcasing how to dress like we are a trust fund baby, whatever that means.
Yes, it's called old money fashion, where timeless elegance meet effortless sophistication. And Rob Condon joins us. I was saying this to you, so would you go into Penny's and say, can I have the old money dress, please?
No.
Do you know the old money dress that was on Ireland AM? Do you have that in stock?
The old money aesthetic is all about kind of pieces that you can mix and match in your wardrobe. It's kind of more muted tones rather than branded pieces. Lots of shows with the likes of The Gentleman, stuff like that. We're really seeing this style coming back. But best of all, you can get it on the high street.
Yeah, it's Annie Nancy Meyers movie starring Goldie Hawn, Diane Keaton, Meryl Streep, that sort of a look.
Exactly. A little bit 90s as well, kind of Princess Diana vibes.
Danny's here, looking
yes, Danny is
always
with us
gorgeous.
And
Let's start.
all of our looks this morning are available from Swords Pavilions, but we've gone with this really kind of oversized, slouchy appeal to the blazer. This is available from Mango, great pocket detailing to it, full length sleeve. We've ruched it up, kind of bringing that really 90s old money aesthetic to it. Now with this, we've gone quite simple then underneath it with the top. So it's all about, if you're going with that oversized blazer, you want to go with a form-fitting top to really give a shape underneath the blazer.
With that ribbed old money.
Exactly, that rib detailing to it. They have this in a few different colours as well if you wanted to put a bit of colour under it. But really, to go with this kind of style, you want your light blues, whites, taupes, that type vibe is going to work really well. And I think with a blazer like this, when it's oversized, you want to ruche up the sleeves, throw it with a pair of denims, or throw it with a great pair of trousers.
These are great. They're very comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. They're really lightweight, so great for holidays, great for travelling in as well. They're available from Vera Moda. A little bit of a 70s vibe to them there, with the leg going out, but again, really comfortable, really light. You can see the pocket detailing to them, drawstring waistline to it. You're going to have these every summer. You can take these out of your wardrobe and kind of mix and match
The whole
them
look
as well.
looks very casual and like just relaxed.
Exactly, it does. It's a really relaxed vibe, but as well, it's given that kind of old money aesthetic because it looks luxurious.
And the shoes?
And then with the shoes, we've gone with these beautiful mules. Really great pair of shoes because they're brown, so they're going to go with lots of different things in your wardrobe. If you're someone who wants a little bit of height, but you don't want too much, they're the perfect little kitten heel with these mules.
The little bag then?
Yes, and then we've gone with kind of basket, wicker style clutch bag. Again, just working in really great with those taupe tones to it. There's a little bit of a silver fleck going through the bag there as well.
You can't miss these earrings.
No, you definitely you definitely can't miss these earrings. So they're a shell design earring, and there's actually real. They're made out of real shell as well.
They look fab on Danny, don't they?
They are. Go big or go home.
I love the way he puts Danny at the end. He's like, they're not going to look good on anyone else.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they will look good.
Do you know what
on
I think
some
as well?
people.
They're making a statement. So any dress you have of a nude tone in your wardrobe, they're going to look great with, especially for summer holidays as well.
Gorgeous.
So the man then, the old money look on a man.
Yes, we're moving on to men's here, and this look here is available from Selected. Really great store, but we've gone with, again, those really blue tones. We've mixed it in with the vest underneath it. The shirt
Now,
here.
So why is it grandfather shirt old money? Tell me.
Because it has that kind of old money, that luxurious vibe to it.
Where are you going to get your money off? Your granddad. Give you a fiver at the weekend.
I love a grandfather shirt.
It is. It's a great shirt and it's great for summer as well. This also comes in a navy, so if you didn't want to go with the light blue, you could go with a navy.
Yeah.
I think the vest underneath that breaks it up. It's a high neckline to this vest, and it just really breaks it up, and it really gives
It's lovely.
that kind
Again,
of
it's that
luxurious
wool
feel.
ribbed.
Yes,
Lovely.
exactly.
Really nice.
And gives it that luxurious feel. Then we've gone with these trousers. They're available in a few different colours. We've gone with the navy this morning, so you can see drawstring waistline. Really comfortable. They're a linen, lots of breathable material there as well. Various different colours in these. They're a great piece to bring on summer holidays as well.
They look lovely and relaxed. Now, who wears these shoes?
We've matched in then the shoes, just keeping those navy tones in with the shoes there.
I love slipper shoes. I think they look amazing.
Who
if you want to
this?
achieve the old money aesthetic.
That's slipper shoes.
So, dude, like, come on now, lads.
I think they look absolutely...
We'll leave them with you and you can wear them tomorrow.
On a Friday, Saturday night, do not wear shoes like that.
Do you know what? I think they work really well.
There you go. That's who'd be wearing them. Let's have a look at the sunglasses.
And then we've gone with the sunglasses. They have a great selection of sunglasses.
The shoes aren't a part of the outfit.
Oh, are they not?
No.
Oh, sorry, they're your own.
Sorry, love. Look at the sunglasses.
Then we've got the sunglasses here, which are available from Selected. Great pair of sunglasses. And also they've other really great pairs of sunglasses
Alex,
in
you
there.
look absolutely fantastic. And
so where do you go when you're wearing those shoes? I want to know.
Rob, move on.
I'm gonna leave them with you so you can wear them tomorrow.
Blonde had a little laugh before she came in. She was like, right, serious. This is fantastic. And talk about bringing the 90s back.
Exactly. It's really 90s with this look, but a really luxurious vibe. So with the old money aesthetic, it's all about that kind of slinky material. This is a brilliant dress. It's available from Zara right now. Any summer event you might have coming up, even summer holidays, it's just a great piece to add to your wardrobe. You can see at the neckline, kind of that cowled, layered neckline to it that looks great. And then it just comes in and it's got a high waist to it there, and then drops down into this A-line dress. Really soft material as well, breathable. And then the back to this dress, it's all about a statement back with this dress as Blonde turns around there.
Wow.
Gold buckle detail into it. A great piece for any event you might have coming up.
It's absolutely beautiful. But you know, sometimes with Zara, their sizes can be size 0 and then 2.
Yeah. It is.
Is it in other colours?
It's not available in any other colours at the moment.
It's a gorgeous dress.
I think as well with the shape to it, because you're getting that A-line shape to it.
Okay.
It's going to be good for shape, and it does have that slinky material to it as well, which is always great. And then with the bag there, we've gone with that shell style bag. Clutch bag. I think you want to kind of stick with gold, neutral colours as well with accessorising.
That's a great
this
bag.
Look.
Is that like hard? Like, is that?
Yeah,
we'll come back to
it
it
is.
1 second. We'll look at the shoes first.
Then we've got the shoes. We've gone with a gold strappy sandal here, which works really well with this look. Just giving that really luxurious
shoes
vibe.
are amazing. They've been around for a few years. They're those real 1970s shoes, and they're gorgeous.
Exactly.
Great under jeans as well.
Yeah, exactly. They go with lots of different things, whether it's jeans, trousers. They're a great pair. They're not like a nude. They're going to go with everything in your wardrobe.
Love them. Look at these earrings.
Yes, we've gone with a statement pair of earrings here, hammered gold style earring. I think these are going to just add a little bit of drama to any outfit.
Really unusual looking.
Yeah.
Blonde is taking my breath away today. This whole look is absolutely amazing on her.
Yeah.
You look stunning. I love it.
Really gorgeous piece.
That is so amazing. Now we're going with our final look today. Oh, hello, Danny.
Yes, Danny is back with us. And again, we've gone really kind of casual, laid back with this look, which the trend is all about. Layering jumpers and another great piece for summer. We've gone linens again with this look here, but I think it just works really well.
It's so lovely. So the shirt with the jumper over the shoulder, very classy.
Yes, exactly. And we've gone oversized with the shirt. So we've sized up with the shirt just to get that kind of oversized as you tuck it in. You could also tie the shirt. The shirt is a little bit longer, so if you're looking for coverage and you want to wear it over it, you could do that as
Very
well.
nice.
But I think by tucking it in, you're getting that kind of little bit of an oversized feel to it. Then we've gone with the jumper over the shoulders.
Just a crew
there.
neck.
Yeah, it
Lovely.
is. And they're available in loads of different colours as well at the moment. So they're a great piece because they're a light knitwear, and if it does get a little bit colder, throw it over this look and it's going to be perfect.
They're really good. The shorts there.
Then we've gone with the high-waisted navy shorts, pocket detail into them. They're available in a few various different colours. But I think this is just a great look. You could put a blazer over this, dress it up a little bit with the shorts.
20 quid?
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah, really great price point for them. And then we've got the crossbody bag, bringing back in those brown tones to the look there.
Absolutely
And
lovely.
Sunglasses then. We are looking at sunglasses here, yeah.
Yep.
Then we've
Yeah,
got
oversized ones,
really
yeah.
oversized sunglasses here. A really great piece to add to this wardrobe. And again, just giving that really luxurious vibe to the look.
Absolutely
Lovely.
stunning. Do we have some shoes to look at as well?
Yes, we've gone with the shoes here. They're brown tone to these shoes. Again, bringing in golds and browns always work really well. If you're not someone who wants to go for a heel, these are great size to this heel, and they're a block heel as well, so they're going to be a little bit more comfortable.
And some very
than
Gucci
a
vibes.
stiletto. They do
Isn't
have
it?
very Gucci vibes.
Yeah,
with
very
them.
much going on.
Yeah.
They are absolutely gorgeous looks, I have to say,
Thank you.
even if I was all over. Do you know what we were meant to be looking at when we were meant to be looking at? But they're gorgeous.
Thank you so much, Rob. I'm actually going to find Alex now and ask him, where does he wear those shoes to on a weekend? Because I want to go as well. What places I want to be
Would
there?
you not wear those slipper shoes into the George?
We'll leave them with you.
Thank
You can
so
try
much.
them out.
Up next, the man who immortalises the best moments in Irish history by making collectible toys.
Talk to you in a second.
Now, we all know the sadness of going into the shop and there being no figurines of Peg Sayers or the man who slipped on ice. However, those days could be behind us.
Yeah, joining us now to talk about creating action figures based on Irish culture is Richard Collier from Hiberna Toys. Good morning to you.
Morning.
How are you? Lovely to see you and lovely to see these figures that we have here. So how did you start to get involved in this?
Well, I've like a background in art and design, and then I collect toys myself, so it was kind of a natural progression. Yeah,
so we just mentioned that the man that's have we ever identified who the man who slipped on ice is?
No, I don't think so.
Like for people who don't know, what is the whole man of the man who slipped on the ice?
There's a really famous.
There it is. That's that was on reports years ago.
And there's a real slap when
there's
he
a
hits.
real that bump.
So now he's got a figurine in his name.
Yeah, and there's a little piece of ice included as well.
So do you know who he was?
No, we don't know who he is.
We don't know who he was, so he can't sort of come looking for you now and sort of say, I want 20% of anything that's made from
But is it about Irish culture? Like, where does the idea come from? Where did the idea even come from to even get started with this?
I don't really know. I just thought there was just kind of funny opportunities that I had always wanted to make action figures, so it just seemed like a good kind of union.
Do you collect action figures like the little WrestleMania ones and stuff?
Not them, but like old Turtles and like Batman and Jurassic Park, yeah.
And we know because we've had people on, so it's a big business, isn't it, then when you're collecting collectibles like that?
Yeah, particularly like older ones, and like even the most expensive part is sometimes like getting the accessory that went with the action figure.
How much was the most expensive one that you have in your collection now that you've been collecting?
I've got a Krang. Do you remember Krang?
Oh yeah, from the Turtles.
Yeah, that was like I think like 150, but like you could go way up.
Oh yeah, we've seen them.
How do you make them?
So I start with an existing toy. So most of these are Star Wars action figures.
Okay.
And then I build up with clay or carve away with a knife. And then it's like sanding and painting after that. And then I design the...
So what is it, like epoxy resin or something you put on it?
Yeah, it's epoxy resin, and then that hardens and you sand away till it's smooth and then start painting.
Oh, who's this now?
That's Fergal Quinn's headless body. So, and then...
the head does get added when we get there. There we go.
That's his head, yeah.
So for people might know, tell us who Fergal Quinn was.
Well, he was just a really iconic supermarket owner.
Yeah. Super Quinn, there he is.
And why did you pick Fergal?
I found, I was looking at an action figure I'd bought and I was like, God, this head really looks like Fergal Quinn. I just thought it would be really funny to make a Fergal Quinn action figure.
And how long would it take you to do that then?
It would take, I would do it over the course of a few days because layers need to dry and stuff.
All right, okay.
But it could take like 5 or 6 hours to make one.
Now, and we have to say, these are to be kept in their boxes. This is the whole thing about these. These are collector items. These aren't to be taken out now to be played with.
No. Like in my own collection, I do have a lot of loose ones, but these ones, the packaging is definitely part of it.
Right.
Okay.
So
do you have a favourite?
I really like the Father Hernandez just because...
This is from Father Ted.
That mohair coat took me like the best of a day to make. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're seeing there Peg Sayers, we're seeing Local Man, and then you've obviously this one here. So, like, are you going to do a load of different Father Ted characters? Because they are kind of part of Irish culture at this stage.
There's just so many characters in it. I'd love to do them all.
And do you have to wait to try and find the character, like the Star Wars character, before you can kind of do a Dougal or whatever?
You kind of, you try and buy cheap ones that are like kind of in bad condition. Because you don't want to buy like a highly valuable figure and like destroy it.
Take the head off it. And how much would these be then? How much do you sell these for?
These ones are kind of 80, 90, 100.
Okay.
But there has been ones lower at like 70. The Fergal Quinn was more expensive.
Okay.
Just because the head alone. That was bought, yeah.
And how did you get started with this? Like, where did the whole idea come from?
I think there's like drawings in my parents' house from of me drawing like toys, like imagined toys. So it was kind of always in the back of my head to do it, but I just started about a year ago. I was like, I'll have a go.
Could it become big business? Do you think it's something like you'd like to devote yourself full time to?
I would love to, yeah, but it's fairly niche.
Yeah.
Fairly. But can people can you commission it? So say if Ireland Air wanted to commission a Tommy,
Yeah,
Could they commission a Tommy Bow?
Yeah, yeah.
You'd need to find an action man.
Big buff
somewhere.
action man. With loads of muscles.
You could use Kerrang.
I don't even know who Kerrang is.
You do want to.
Don't know.
So what's the next? Who have we got in the pipeline?
So there's the Floozy Jacuzzi. So why that one in particular? Because it's past Irish history, and is that what it is, to go back, to remind people of history of Ireland?
That's a nice element, but it's also things that you would never expect to see as a toy. And also the element of it's like partially a play set, the idea of a fountain, like who would play with a fountain? So like that, it's kind of like that idea as well.
I don't know. But as we say, it's quite niche. And Warren, come on in. What do you reckon? Would you have a favourite?
You've had your favourite. What's your one?
I really just want 10 siblings and Tommy amongst them all. Like that.
There we go. That's the one.
I mean, I will. Can we commission it? We will buy it and we will put it up on the wall.
No, we do not need that.
We don't
Can
need
you
it.
imagine we had that?
Action men out there.
But it is really
cool.
I've got T-shirts of Peg Sayers. I've got loads of things of Peg Sayers. I love Peg Sayers.
So if people want to find you, it's Hiberno Toys on Instagram. So at Hiberno Toys. Richard Collier, thanks so much for that.
They're brilliant. They're brilliant.
Cool.
Well done. So cool.
Now, coming up on tomorrow's show, we're going to be talking about stress bragging at work and how it can turn people against you. And stress work with this pair.
Stress bragging. We'll be showing you how to waterproof your wardrobe so you can survive any of the summer showers.
Of course. Plus, we'll be learning the art of eco-printing, all that, plus your news, sport and weather. Ireland AM is live from 7. Bye.
Bye-bye.